Deputy Aodhán Ríordáin.
Well, Ken Corda, Taoiseach, today the criminal justice system effectively has collapsed under your watch. And Fine Gael have held the Department of Justice in an unbroken manner for 12 years. But today the criminal courts are not sitting because criminal barristers have withdrawn their labour. And this was notified to government on the 12th of July. Now, Fine Gael have nobody else to blame because you have the Ministry of Public Expenditure and Reform and you have the Ministry of Justice. So you were notified on the 12th of July the courts would not be sitting on the 3rd of October because of a dispute around barristers' pay. Go back to May, there was a sexual assault case which almost collapsed because of the lack of a senior counsel. So why are you collectively bystanders as the criminal justice system falls almost in its entirety today in Ireland? What have you done since the 12th of July to today to try to resolve that dispute? And on the same day, the Garda Síochána are effectively working to rule, and they'll be doing it every Tuesday during this month, including Halloween. Now, I don't have to tell you, Taoiseach, that if you go to any community meeting anywhere in Dublin or across the country and you tell them that there'll be restricted Garda service on the night of Halloween, the communities will understandably be concerned about that. And what have the government done? What has the Minister done in order to ensure that this dispute can be resolved? Well, the Minister says it's not under her jurisdiction, she can't get involved. But that's not so, because I took it upon myself on behalf of the Labour Party to write to the Policing Authority last week, because, Taoiseach, Garda rostering is essentially an issue of managing and deploying Garda resources, and so it falls under the remit of the Policing Authority. Under Section 62H of the Garda Síochána Act, the authority may do anything which it considers necessary or expedient to enable it to perform its function. Under Section 62O, the Minister may request the authority to prepare and submit to her a report in respect of any matter relating to policing services, including rosters. And the authority shall comply with the request as soon as practicable after receiving it. So, Taoiseach, I submit to you that the criminal barristers are effectively on strike because you did nothing since the 12th of July. You have the policing authority who are effectively not being asked to have any view in the rostering dispute. And this is completely and entirely your fault. You can't blame anybody else. So what are you going to do about it?
Taoiseach.
Thanks, Deputy. I just want to say on behalf of the Government that we recognise the important and essential role played by barristers in undertaking criminal legal aid work. And Minister McEntee is currently engaged in discussions with the Minister for Public Expenditure on the issue of criminal legal aid fees as part of the budgetary process. And of course the budget will be presented to the Dáil in a week's time. The scheduling of court cases and the allocation of court business are matters for the presidents of the courts and the presiding judges, who are under the Constitution independent in the exercise of their judicial functions. However, I am advised by the Court Service that in the absence of legal representatives for any reason, it is open to each court and judge to adjourn a matter until another date. Representation by barristers varies across court jurisdiction and law type, and it is not possible for the Court Service to tell us how many cases may be impacted today. In relation to the Garda overtime ban, which is occurring this Tuesday, next Tuesday and the Tuesday after, it is important to say that it relates to voluntary overtime. The Garda Commissioner assures us that policing will remain adequate and sufficient across each Tuesday, including today. In terms of the Policing Authority, Deputy, I'll have to look at the legislation to which you refer. I'm not sure if it's the case that the Policing Authority has a role to play in this. It is an oversight body. It's there to hold Gardaí and Garda management to account. I'm not sure if it's the appropriate body to get involved in a rostering dispute, but I'll certainly consider what you suggested.
Ríordáin.
Well, I think any community, Taoiseach, will listen to what you have said. I think any barrister will listen to what you have said. Any guard will listen to what you have said and feel as if it's somebody else's responsibility. It's not yours. I mean, you knew about this dispute coming since the 12th of July, and you've let the criminal courts of justice fall today. And the Bar Council say they have had no engagement. They have had no engagement. And it falls completely and utterly on you as a leader of Fine Gael, who does hold the Ministry for Public Expenditure and does hold the Ministry for Justice, to do something about it. Because we could have the courts closed again next month. And on the Garda issue, the policing authority has an absolute role to play. But has the Minister even asked them? Has she even asked them? Because it appears to me, Taoiseach, that you want to deflect and say that it's everybody else's fault except yours. You are the Taoiseach. You have these ministries under your jurisdiction. And it feels as if the criminal system is collapsing on your watch, but you feel it's somebody else's responsibility to sort it out.
Taoiseach.
Thanks. Thanks, Deputy. Just in relation to the policing authority, I'm informed by Minister McEntee that the policing authority has said that it doesn't have a role to play in rosters, and I understand that they said so as recently as their public meeting last week. In relation to the barristers' dispute, I don't think the criminal justice system, Deputy, is collapsing. This is a one-day withdrawal of labour. Barristers are protesting, and they've every right to protest. We live in a democracy, and I can understand the case they're making. Just like public servants and the vast majority of people across the public and private sector, they've seen their pay and fees restored. But that has to be done by negotiation, and it was always understood that it would have to be done as part of the budget for next year, and also as part of a discussion around reforms. When we reversed the fee cuts for GPs, there were changes, there was loss of private income. That's the kind of debate that needs to happen.